Hey everybody, Travis Clater back with another strategic thought for the day. I was reading an article this morning about listening, and when I got done with the article, I just had to do a strategic thoughts video about it. The author shared 5 key insights from her new book, which is also the title of the article, which is Listen Like You Mean It, Reclaiming the Lost Art of True Connection. Those 5 insights included most of us are not really listening. Conversations contain hidden needs. Each of us has a particular filter we tend to listen through. Asking the right questions can deepen a conversation. And 5, empathetic listening requires self-awareness. And it's that last point that really piqued my interest. And I'll post the link to the article in the blog, so definitely check it out and check out her book. But that last point about self-awareness and empathetic listening is where I think a lot of communicators fall short. In fact, I think it's where a lot of communications campaigns fall short. By nature, I can say this, strategic communicators, we're problem solvers. We see an issue or a challenge, we jump right into solution finding mode to provide the best possible answer that we can find. That's just by nature who we are. It's what we do. And believe me, it creates plenty of issues for us in our own personal lives. But for our communications campaigns, part of finding the right solution is listening to your audiences. When you think about your communications campaigns, you have to identify who your target audiences are. It's part of creating that strategic communications campaign. So, the question that I always have for everybody is why are we going to identify our audiences without understanding their views on particular topics or issues or things that we're going to be engaging them about or creating content around? The reality is, we just don't know what our audiences are thinking unless we ask them. We can make guesses or we may think that we know, but it's still just our best guess unless we ask them. That means it's really, really important that we listen to our audiences, and I mean really listen to them. All of us, whether we are communicators or not, have a lens, like the author was pointing out, that we look through, and most of the time we're completely unaware that we're even looking through that particular lens. And so we have our own biases that we have to deal with. To effectively listen to our audiences, we need to look in the mirror and be real about where our biases are, what lens it is that we're looking through, and try and be empathetic listeners or understand our audiences and where they are coming from, not where we think they're coming from or where we're coming from. And again, this goes back to that 5th point that she outlined about self-awareness. Now, look, sometimes you don't have the luxury of doing consumer research for your campaigns or implementing surveys or polling audiences, whether it's a lack of budget or something else. Sometimes you just can't do it. And believe me, there are plenty of ways to get audience data and insights without spending a lot or sometimes any money, but that's a discussion for another day. Today, I want to make sure that everybody understands whether you can do research or especially if you can't, you need to know how to be a good listener if you want to execute an effective strategic communications campaign. The fact, and really the strategic thought for the day, is that most of us think we are good listeners. The other fact is that the chances are most of us are really, really, really wrong. And what this author has outlined is a great start. And my challenge to everybody is to take the time to listen to your audiences, whether they are internal or external, to guide your communications campaigns. Find ways to figure out what they're thinking, find ways to gauge their interest on certain topics or their opinions on certain topics so you can better engage with them and create those meaningful connections. And that's the strategic thought for the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you check out other strategic thoughts and posts at tcstrategic.com and sign up for our newsletter. And we'll see you back here again soon.